we've got a list of points that, from feedback that we've been doing a lot of research into pocket doors and why they're not used more, because they're a real no-brainer in terms of an application in a home, because they save so much space and they look so good. Why aren't they used more? So the first point is around the cost, which is a very good point, because the initial outlay of a pocket door is more expensive than, say, a standard softwood framed swing door.
But then you're not really comparing apples for apples, or like for like, are you? I mean, a pocket door system, you're including a wall, running gear, it's a completely different door, it's not a standard swing door.
Yeah.
And you're not trying to achieve the same thing.
No. I mean, would you refer to an apple as a pocket door? Or?
I mean, they're fairly fundamentally different. But,
yeah.
But with a pocket door system, obviously you're saving the space. So you can, as a developer, you can think about how many more potential apartments could I get in my apartment block if I was to use a different wall layout or different room layout.
So then, yeah, no, that's a good point. So then they're looking at the overall exit cost of using pocket doors in a property rather than just the initial outlay. It's what value is it adding, as well as the cost of install.
And aside from that, it makes their apartment stand out. I mean, these days in the London market, you've got so many developers building standard apartments. It's quite hard to differentiate them. So a pocket door really helps them get, if you like, a higher value, because a client will come in and see, I like that, because it gives a different feel to the apartment.
No, I fully agree. I'd like some of that. The next point, you were going to ask me on this.
Oh yeah, it's about fitting. Occasionally, pushback we would get from clients is that, look, we have a challenge fitting the pocket doors. And you can talk for hours on this. So.
Yeah, I could do. I'll try and keep it brief, but it is a good point, because it can be a challenge, particularly around if the sequencing's not done early stages, because it integrates into the wall itself as well. So if the sequencing is not done with the different trades, so you've got dry liners and carpenters, it can be a challenge for programming and timing and who does what. What's really important, if we can assist with the design and get that bit right early stages, so you're looking at, is there deflection heads, what do we need to allow for that, integration with the walls and other doors, and then we get to site, you look at installation. So we've got installation training, that's either on the Acedo Academy or on site, but then you've also got the pre-cut or pre-assembled kits, which can make it a lot quicker. So instead of spending an hour fitting a pocket door kit, it could be 10 minutes. We actually did one recently with a modular company where they were fitting a pocket door, the whole thing, in 10 minutes. So
takes any of that risk of installation out of it, basically.
Yeah, and it removes the whole human error side as well, because the installation part of the getting the sizes right in terms of the components of the kit is all done in the factory. So if there's an issue, it's our fault. The third one, Keenan, is all around maintenance. So they think that it's hard to maintain because they've got to look after the door for.
And you can understand where clients are coming from. They've got to maintain that building and the door through its lifetime. But with the Enigma system, there is no need for ongoing maintenance. I mean, if, for example, we test the running gear to 100,000 cycles, so even if you were to use that door yourself 3 times a day, let's say, for the whole of your life, by the time you've died, it's still going to be running fine.
Well, it's got another 91 years, so I don't know if you've got that long left in you.
The other thing is that the running gear is self-lubricating, so there's no need to go back and start, I don't know, some people think they have to put oil in or something like that. Absolutely no way.
Yeah, that's a big no-no, actually, oil, because that actually attracts dirt.
Yeah, exactly. So you can just leave it and let it to self-lubricate.
A couple of extra things from us. We are also designing a soft close system which is removable, so that can be removed at a later date if necessary. But one really important thing in terms of maintenance, the only thing I've ever really seen is where maintenance is required is where they've allowed dirt to get into the track. So if they fit the track and the wheels during still heavy construction phase, they've got a lot of dirt that goes in through decoration and all the rest of it. So protection of that track cavity is really important as well. This is a really interesting one. So some people refer to pocket doors as not being very romantic. You sure you could talk about that?
Yes, yeah. It wasn't it. It was on a hotel project, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
The doors are not so romantic. I presume that means they're referring to the en-suites.
Yeah, I think potential explosion noises from en-suites coming through to bedrooms.
Which I can see would be unromantic.
Yeah.
But that's why we have an acoustic kit now, isn't it?
There's two options. With the visible kit or the fire rated kit, you've got extra framing around the door anyway. Encloses the door. I was actually at a property that used one recently, and I always used to think that you couldn't use a pocket door on to a common hallway, to a toilet, because of that potential risk. But I went to the house recently and it was absolutely fine. Because of the extra framing around it, it's locked, you've got the seals in the rebate and the strike jam. It works just as well.
It's a similar acoustic rating you'd get with a swing door.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you are particularly worried about it, you can get an acoustic kit to go with it to get up to a 30 dB rating as well. So there's definitely solutions for your romance.
Absolutely. And then the next one was around fixing items onto walls, which is common because you're saving your space. So then you've got the wall there to use, and you want to hang a picture, or you want to put your television on there or something like that.
Television is a key one, because often a picture there's not too much weight, but a television is a key one. Especially, it can be used sometimes. They'll have two bi-parting pocket doors that separate a room, and the pocket essentially is where they want to put the TV as a centerpiece of the room. So there's a couple of things on that. Firstly, let's get the design right early, but then you can look at things like utilisation of ply on the sidewall, because introduce a 12 or 18 or even 25 mil ply, it gives you a lot of extra strength on that ply, on that sidewall, that can take quite a bit of weight. If there's too much weight, it's a good point. You may have to use another sacrificial wall in front, but I would say likewise to even a standard stud wall, if you're putting a huge amount of weight on that, say if you're hanging kitchen cabinets, you've got to be really careful on what your substrate is there. So it's definitely needs to be looked at as early as possible.
But something like, I know some people are concerned occasionally about putting tiles. That's something that we could absolutely work with.
Yes, we did a few years back now, we did a test with some 20mm stone, and that actually can make the sidewall more sturdy, because the weight is actually going vertically down, not pulling away from the pocket. Can actually increase the stability of the pocket. So
coordinating trades. This
is a really good one. Mentioned it a little bit earlier, but what is your comments on the coordination of trades? So predominantly you've got dry liners and carpenters, right?
And it's just really important you have that communication piece between them and you get it in the right, because if there is going to be an issue on site, it's because the trades haven't been coordinated. But you'd have more installation training and experience. So.
Yeah, the challenge is if the coordination hasn't been done in terms of program and they're all trying to get it done at the same time. That's a massive challenge. Another trade actually to think about is the electrician, because sometimes they'll want to be running cables down for switches, and that needs to be coordinated as well. So coordination of trades is really important. Again, looking at using something like a pre-assembled kit, so that installation part of the kit is done in the factory, so it can be installed as part of the wall along with the dry liner, and then the carpenter can come along and fit the door at a later stage, so it's not like a revisit. That can really help a lot.
But typically your dry liners, who would typically be doing it? I mean, the joinery contractor would take the bulk of.
Generally they would, because a door is seen as a carpenter's job, but because the pocket forms part of the wall, it can be done by dry liners as well. It's really important with pocket doors, the different levels, and making sure it's plumb and that the track is level, and because if there's something out of kilter, that can really throw the pocket door into out of kilter. You like that? Yeah. Hopefully it's the right one. If it's out of kilter, the pocket door will scrape. The wheels can scrape against the sidewall of the track. So it's really important to take care. And I think traditionally that's why it's been looked at as a carpenter's job.
Our last point was about pocket doors being challenging to open, feeling too stiff.
Yep, this is another really valid one, and it really varies who your target audience is here. Is it for a elderly home, or is it going to be young children using it, or if it's just general run of the mill, it will vary in terms of what you can use with a pocket door or not. 30 newtons is part of the DDA regs in terms of opening force. I'll show you actually, we can go into the lab and actually use a Newton meter to show how much force is taken to slide the door to operate it. The challenge is when it gets to either end, either being held in a stop or if the soft close system is used, because the spring of the soft close can cause extra strain. So it's just looking at who's going to be actually using the doors and specifying appropriately.
And if we need to do some kind of test, we can do that with.
Yeah, like we did recently with, I think it might be on another video, Charlie did one for a simultaneous double with soft close, and that really, the force required to open those doors really builds up, because you've got the weight of 2 doors, the simultaneous opening belt, and the soft close on both doors. You've got a lot of extra pressure there. So
anything's possible.
Anything's possible. Come and talk to us. We'd love to talk about your project. But ultimately, what we're really trying to discuss and prove here is that there's always a solution. Pocket doors are such a great solution for just about any scenario for a door, and we're really trying to create that momentum to make people realise that you can use them wherever you like. Thank you very much.
Anytime.
Appreciate your time.
No worries.